everybody, good morning. Welcome to the Dice Tower. We are, last week was a busy week with the Digital Spiel live playthroughs that we did, and we had a lot of fun doing those. But wow, we went home on Saturday. I was like, the weekend's here, but it was just a day. But that's okay. I really did get a lot of rest yesterday. I only played 5 games yesterday, which I think is kind of restful. Although 3 of them were escape room games. So, look at all these exit games. I blew through them all yesterday, and I'll be talking about them later this week. We got a lot of cool things we're going to be talking about, obviously, in the future. This coming Friday, we're going to play a couple spooky games. And I think there's a couple spooky games being played in the No Strings Attached segments at night. So you can see that stuff coming this week. And we just got lots of cool things, hopefully, on the schedule for you all. I hope you're having a fantastic week/day. And if you're not, I hope that this will be a bit of an encouragement for you to join us here, where we just have a good time talking and answering questions. If you have questions, just go ahead and ask them in the comments, and I may or may not answer them. I don't answer all of them. And asking it multiple times does not get it answered. But I do answer a lot of them, and that's just kind of what we do here. So let's see what the questions are. I don't have any questions yet, actually. Good morning from sunny California. Well, I'll say hello to you, too. And from not really sunny Florida. Florida's not been sunny the past couple of weeks. It's just been rain. But I've still been able to get my 10,000 steps in a day. I've had stopped doing that for a while, but I have now done it for 21 days straight, and it will definitely happen again today. So 22 days straight. So it's time to get back on that boat, but I'm feeling good about that. Enjoyed your playthroughs last week. Which did you like best? Well, that would not be fair to all the other ones. I think your best bet, I have a very clear favorite, but I think your best bet is just to wait for all the different reviews. I don't believe I'm doing any. I'm talking about one of the games tomorrow. The Batman The Last Laugh Rising. I've already reviewed that game many times. So I'll be talking about that. But the rest of them, you'll see them in the next 2 or 3 weeks. I'll review almost every game I did last week, with the exception of the Kickstarter ones. And thank you for all the nice people saying nice words about those. If animals could talk, who would be the rudest? I would guess camels. What top 10 list was the most difficult to put together? The one we just did where the first turn was important, that's one of the hardest ones I've had to put together. But I don't know of all time what was the hardest. I don't know. Maybe it will come to me at some point. What movie scared you the most as a kid? I didn't actually watch a lot of scary movies as a kid. I know that when I was very young, like 3 years old, I was extremely afraid of Cruella de Vil in the 101 Dalmatians, which I believe was in theaters when I was a little child. I didn't have a TV for most of my childhood, so I didn't watch a ton of movies. But I did see Night of the Living Dead, the original black and white one. That one scared me, which is interesting because that's one of the games we're playing this coming Friday. I saw a couple episodes of War of the Worlds. I think it's what it was. I saw the ending of Body Snatchers, which scared me. And I saw a part of Poltergeist, which scared me. But I didn't see many scary movies as a kid. And movies just scared me. Anything that's scary, I don't like that sort of thing. Still, I'm not a big fan of it. Good morning to all these people saying good morning. Have I ever thought about doing a video of my top 10 favorite werewolf roles? At some point, I'll do that for sure. What's your opinion of the Descent Legends reveal? That's a good question. I think I'll talk about that a bit. So I watched a good chunk of the video where they talked about the Descent Legends. It was a long video, and I felt like there's a lot of things they said over and over and over again. So this is not really Descent 3, they said. They wanted to make that clear, which I think you could have just made clear by not calling it Descent. If it's not Descent, then don't call it Descent. Call it something else. It's in the Terranath universe. If it's Runebound, then call it Runebound. If it's not, then call it a whole new game. I just think that's weird. They're insisting it's not Descent. As far as I can tell, it's the Lord of the Rings Mansions of Madness game in the Descent world, which isn't a bad thing. I'm definitely on board with that. I don't know what I think about the artwork yet with the super The elf does not look fantastic to me. The other ones would look fine, I guess. The artwork, I don't know where I'm at. The miniatures look like they're straight from a Kickstarter campaign. And in fact, the whole thing feels like a Kickstarter campaign, to the point in the video where they almost said, hey, there's a lot of these games out there, so we're going to try to be like them. And I thought, but why? Descent was the one game where I could play as Dungeon Master. All these other ones are co-op dungeon crawlers. If they're going to make a co-op dungeon crawler, that's all well and good. But there's already a ton of those out there. This needs to stand up against those other ones. It's a very high price point. Even with a discounted online price, it's going to be $140, which I know is what a lot of these online ones cost. But I think the app thing is cool. That looks really neat. I hope it's good. I like the Lord of the Rings game, Mansion Madness, a lot. So I'm not upset about that part. This is definitely a wait and see for me. They could win me over, but they haven't done a good job selling me on it, because this is what I'm hearing. Hey, folks, here's a $170 product. It's just like other Kickstarters out there. In fact, we tried to make it more like those Kickstarters. It's going to use an app, and it's going to push the app in ways you've never seen an app push before. What are those ways it's pushing the app? You'll find out. Is this the whole campaign? No, it's the very beginning of a much longer campaign, so this $170 you put down isn't even a whole game. I know that's not quite true. I know that there's more than that, and it might be amazing. But they haven't sold it on me yet. Of course, this is definitely also a case of Christian Peterson and other folks being gone for Fantasy Flight, and those folks were amazing salespeople. You know, like or hate Christian Peterson, he could sell you on a game. He'd get up there and he'd talk about that game, and you're like, I must own this game. So that being said, I'm not trashing on it or thinking it's bad or anything. I'll wait and see. But there is a lot of these big dungeon crawlers out there right now. So what is this one going to offer that's different? We're just going to have to see. What's the best thing you ate this weekend? I could tell you the worst thing I ate this weekend. I went to Chili's, and that was a waste of time. Me and my wife have just written Chili's off of our list of places we'll go to again. It may be our Chili's in town here, but we've had some not great experiences there before. This time was the capper on it. I did eat something good. I don't know. My wife made me some good yogurt over the weekend. Alrighty. Was there a werewolf game last week? There was not werewolf games last week, but there was werewolf games the week before, and I'll be posting one of those on the channel tomorrow. We're also playing in one tonight, and I'm going to post that one on the channel this week, and then I'll have two for next week, and so on and so forth. So you'll see them coming. What is the angriest you've been playing a hobby board game? When I was in Korea, when we were playing board games there, was I reviewing at the time? Yeah, I think I might have been. This was 2003, maybe 2002, 2003. There was a guy for some reason who just got me so mad playing a game. I stood up and screamed at him, and I was so mad because he complained about everything the whole game, and it just was like, stop. I was much younger then. I would probably not try to scream at somebody now. But it was almost 20 years ago. I was younger and dumber. What is the best Rising game? That's a good question, now that there are 5 of them out there. For kids, SpongeBob. Gameplay-wise, I think The Dark Knight Rising is the best of them, gameplay-wise. All around, which one would I pick if I could pick any of them? Factoring in theme, gameplay, and everything else? Probably Thanos, actually. But I would pick the theme you like the best and go with that. It looks like you stand while doing Zooming group reviews. Do you have a standing desk? I do. I don't know which. You said which. I just went to Amazon and ordered one, and it works pretty well, so I use it. You've done top 10 horror games. Have you done top 10 Halloween games? Ask if you forgot. Well, I would consider that to be one and the same, really. Were you surprised how bad you, Mike, and Roy were at co-op games? No, I don't feel like that because a couple things in there. I think co-op games are just by general difficult when you start playing them. We're also playing them on camera where you can see all the mistakes because you're not playing and watching it. And I think Mike and Roy are both really excellent players, and sometimes there's luck involved with those things. So no, I'm not surprised at that. We talk about how bad we are, but I don't think we are. I think nowadays co-op games are just generally more difficult than they used to be, which I'm not real keen on. I really think you should be able to beat your first playthrough of a co-op game on easy level, and then you're like, ooh, we barely beat it. Now we'll play it again. This where you get crushed in the very easy levels, I'm not on board with that, but I guess I'm in the minority. A lot of people seem to like that. When will you hire Rodney Smith at the Dice Tower? I think Rodney Smith is completely content being on his own. If I could afford Rodney, and if he was willing to work under me, I would definitely hire Rodney. I think he's fantastic and is great for our hobby. If you enjoy classical music, which I do, what's your favorite piece or composer? Probably generally Tchaikovsky is my favorite composer. Although, I'm going to exclude, I'm assuming you want me to exclude modern day classical music, specifically score music, because if I don't exclude that, then it's John Williams by a mile. I like him better, and I think he's better than Bach, Beethoven, Haydn, and all that. And every time I say that, people lash out at me because you can only like old things when it comes to classical music. But if I go by the classics, then Tchaikovsky, maybe Rimsky-Korsakov. I like classical music. I think there's a lot of boring classical music out there. And, a lot of classical music sounds the same. You listen to a lot of the Mozart concertos or Haydn stuff. They sound very similar. Yes, I know there's pieces that sound distinctly different, but a lot of the stuff sounds the same. And there's a reason kids these days don't like classical music. One, because they're not taught it. But two, because there is a good chunk of it that's fairly boring and samey. Just like there's a good chunk of rock music that's fairly boring and samey. But if we start going into, once I include score composers, then I have John Williams, Howard Shore. There's so many good ones out there that I really like. Of course, I know the audacity of me putting John Williams over Bach. Give it 200 years. We'll see which one's remembered more. Have you tried one of the VR systems like Oculus Steam? I don't remember if it was Oculus. I'm pretty sure it was Oculus. I tried it when I went to PAX several years ago. I thought it was really cool. I just haven't got it for myself at home because I don't put a lot of money into video games in my house. We have a couple Switches, and that's pretty much it. Am I excited about Pfister's Cloud Age? I am. Will I be doing a review? Well, I don't have the game, so when we get the game, we'll review it. Can we expect the top 100 before the end of the year, or are you planning for it in January? January for sure. I want to do it a year from the last one. With everything that Dice Tower has going on, what's your secret for staying organized and keeping everyone on the same page? Well, we don't always stay on the same page. I try, but there's a lot. We have a Slack group behind the scenes that we talk through a little bit. We have Google documents that we use for our scheduling. We have all kinds of scheduling. We talk a lot. Here in the studio, we talk to each other. I keep in communication with Z and with Lindsay, our marketing manager, and Mark and Stella and Ella, because they're at different people. People email me. I stick stuff on the schedule. We're not always as organized as I like to be, but I really try to be as organized as we possibly can. What book am I currently reading? I'm just kind of, I'm chilling a little bit. I'm like yesterday I read, I don't know why, I started reading some Ready Player One, and I think my opinion of that book has gone down tremendously. But the new book is coming out. from Brandon Sanderson in like 2 weeks. So I'm like saving. I'm ready. When that comes out, I'm going to read. 175 and you're relying on an app for that money. I want a real DM in a box. Well, if you find someone who's worth $100, that seems kind of ridiculous. No, I think an app is worth money. I mean, everyone's like, oh, an app, you pay $50, $60 for a computer game. The app could really make the game better. And I know that people yell about apps all the time, but the app in Lord of the Rings really works well, and I really like it. So I'm not upset about that. I just wish they kept the Dungeon Master. I really liked being a Dungeon Master. And so few dungeon crawlers now allow that. If Hero Quest is $150 for no gameplay change, then I think Descent for $175 is acceptable, since I know Fantasy Flight Games will make it amazing. Well, yeah, but I think we could also argue very strongly that Hero Quest ain't worth no $150. I don't know how that one is getting away with its price. That ain't worth $150. Sorry. Do you have any nicknames for your coworkers? Well, we call Roy Roy and Mike Mike and Kenny Kenny and ZZ. So no. What is your costume for Halloween? I've not even thought about that yet. I just probably wear one of my many masks. Which Universal monster is your favorite? Frankenstein. Frankenstein's monster. Have you ever gone trick-or-treating before? I never went as a kid. My parents did not want us to go trick-or-treating. So I never did it as a kid. I hand out candy. Our church has always done something, and I've always done something big. If you look on our channel, you even see I created a box maze for several years. Like for 4 years, I created this giant box maze that people crawl through, which was a lot of fun, but a huge amount of work. Last year, I built a big marble ramp that kids would drop the marbles down and pick, and the marble that won got a little bit extra candy. I tried to do something like that. This year, I'm not doing anything because I believe we're having a very closed candy give out type thing. I'm not sure of all the details. I'm not in charge. The youth group is doing it, but I think it's only for a few kids just because of everything that's going on. So I'm not doing anything big this year. Maybe next year. What's my go-to hot sauce? Hands down, it's Peach Vidalia Onion hot sauce from Robert Is Here stand in Homestead. I love it. I love it. I love it. Do you see digital demo sessions being a vital part of the board game future, especially for smaller publishers and Kickstarters? I don't know. I don't know what's viable for the future. I'm hearing that a lot of people were not big fans of the whole digital spiel. Not hopefully our stuff that we did, but the actual event did not seem to be getting a lot of praise. Maybe it did. I'm still collecting data on that point, but I don't know, what the future is going to hold for these things. For Descent 3rd Edition, provided painting miniatures would be something I could do above and beyond other dungeon crawl games. Maybe. I don't know if that would draw me in, no. We'd have to wait and see. Check out the Yellowbird hot sauces out of Austin, Texas. They have a Serrano sauce that you can drink. It's that good. Well, that's not true. But I really do like the Yellowbird hot sauces. I went to when I went to Board Game Geek Con, they had them on all the tables at the restaurant there. And I was like, I'll try it. It's a new sauce. And I was like, this stuff's amazing. I bought them, and my daughter instantly ate them all. But I do like them a lot. I think their Serrano sauce is fine, but their habanero sauce is fantastic. Fortunately, you can get them through Amazon, so that makes me happy. I'm considering a career change. I'm a civil engineer with a PhD. Any skills that might be translatable to the board game industry? I don't know that that is the case. I think the board game industry has a lot of different things involved. I don't think you would use the skills from that job per se. There's a lot of things involved, but I get email from some people sometimes. They're like, I want to get involved in the board game industry. What should I do? Like, I don't know. What do you want to do? That's like me saying, I want to be involved in the music industry. What should I do? Well, can you sing? Do you want to be a video edit? A sound recorder, an editor, a musician? There's just a lot of different things involved. And it's the same way with the board game industry. But even then, I don't know that I could tell you how to get into it. It's kind of a thing a lot of people have kind of morphed into. If you didn't have your current job, but were still into board gaming with more limited budget, would you spend your money on a game if it didn't have top-notch art and components? I probably would not unless I just loved the game that much. I think I would go based on how much the gameplay was fun. And for, the components and the art are important, but all things being equal, I'm going to pick the one with better art and components. Do you know any of the unrevealed stretch goals for Freedom 5, and are you ready to leak live on TV? I am not, and I don't. I think they don't tell me these things, so I can't spoil them. I wouldn't ask anyway. I don't know, so I can't spoil it. Let's see here. Love the back and forth between Quins. Can we expect him to show up on a Dice Tower Top 10? He said he would, but we have not set it up yet at all. Let's see. Just from your perspective, what are some of the things that would make up a perfect dungeon crawler? I don't know if it's perfect, but this is what I'm looking for in a dungeon crawl, and I haven't seen anyone do it yet. I would like someone to make one along the lines of Hero Quest. That's fairly light, a really simple game. A game where you kick the door down, roll dice, and do things. But then with a lot of variety and ways to upgrade and get cooler as the game goes by. Hero Quest gave you this thing, gave the Dungeon Master, said draw your own map out, make your own thing. I love that. I thought that was a cool thing. The problem with Hero Quest was there was very little equipment, very few monsters, so it felt like you had a really small toolbox that you were working with when you made stuff. But it was fun. It was interesting. I really liked Hero Quest back in the day, but it feels too confined for me now. It feels too light. So I want something that's a little bit there, but not these big, grandiose, gigantic games that also require tons of rules and things. No one has made a simplistic dungeon crawl that also feels huge and with lots of options. Let's see here. Hans Zimmer is very good. Yes. We're talking back to composers. Stravinsky, yes, I like Stravinsky a lot. See, the thing about John Williams is not only does he write some of the most, his music is so ingrained in people's heads. And it's not like he has just one. Like, you don't say, oh, well, yeah, John Williams, the Star Wars guy. No, he's the Star Wars guy. He's the Superman guy. He's the Jaws guy. He did E.T. And in case you thought he was getting boring, he came back decades later and wrote Harry Potter. And then he also can turn and do things that are just unbelievably different, like Schindler's List. He did the soundtrack for that. He's just really amazing. And, I really like him. Now, I like Alan Silvestri, too. I like Hans Zimmer. I like Danny Elfman, of course. Although Danny Elfman's music has a very distinct style. I guess John Williams does too. But there's just a lot of great people out there. When playing games at home, how much do you care about getting all the rules just right versus just having fun and not worrying about it like you would when making a YouTube video? Oh, I always try to get all the rules right. So I always worry about that. Obviously, we worry about it more when we're making the video live, but then we're also corrected more when making the video live, so it's just going to happen. I'm constantly reading and rereading rules when we play games, trying to make sure we have everything that was possible right. But at the end of the day, it's just to have fun. A lot goes into reviewing. Do you prefer to play games off screen and do a separate review? Or would you prefer playing live or giving first impressions live? Is there a benefit to one or the other? Well, it's not fun to play it live and then not like it. If I like it, I guess live is better. When planning out your top 100 games, what ratings do you start with? Probably anything that's an 8.5 or above. I mean, I'm not going to consider anything that's not Dice Tower excellent at this point. Do you have any input on the Freedom 5 Kickstarter campaign? They seem to have a number of issues that you call out other campaigns for in crowd surfing. I don't. Arcane Wonders runs the Kickstarting, and everything there is run by it. I do know that Rob Geislinger, who runs it, is one of the smartest guys I know in the board gaming industry. So I haven't actually taken a super close look at the Kickstarter campaign, so I don't know what issues you'd be talking about. But no, I'm not technically involved with that. If the next Marvel movie would skip theaters and made available on demand, how much would you be willing to pay for it to watch it ASAP? Oh, I don't know. You know, it depends what the movie is. So for Black Widow, I'm interested in seeing Black Widow, but I'm not like dying to see it. But I'm interested in seeing it. So like the movies that are on that level, like, oh, I'm excited to see it, but I think every Marvel movie is interesting to see. So Ant-Man, Doctor Strange, even though I think the movies, I might even have ranked them higher afterwards, even Black Panther and all them, I would pay one level of money. I don't know, at home, $20 maybe to see them. Maybe I'd go a little higher. To see the big ones, Avengers Endgame, Captain America, Civil War, I'd pay $50. But then again, I would also drag in a whole bunch of people to watch it. So it's kind of similar to what I would have done anyway, take a lot of people to the theater. Like when Avengers Endgame came out, I paid for all the guys at Dice Tower to go watch it together because, you know, it was fun. You know, it was a company event in a sense. So that's no different than me. I would have paid that much to get it at home. I'd be that excited about them. Am I going to start flying in board game personalities for top 10s, playthroughs, etc. in 2021? I'll start flying people back in for stuff like that when we feel like it's safe enough to do so. Then yes, that's back on the docket. I do hope that people realize I'm not trying to get out. We said we do that for the Kickstarter. So instead of doing flying people in, we had people come in and do stuff, you know, through, you know, Zoom. I know it's not as good, but hopefully that helped make up for that. Are we going to have Pandemic Legacy Season 0 live? No, sorry. Do you guys set yearly, quarterly goals for the company? I set goals for the company and myself all the time, just trying to do something or get something done. How many games a day does a Dice Tower review? That I don't know. I want to say it's an average of 4, maybe. Some days we review more than others. My goal is to do on average 10 a week, but I normally do 12. Some weeks I do a few less. I mean, technically I'm reviewing 10 games tomorrow, but they're just really short type reviews. Yeah, I'm just trying to get enough out there so that all the big games at least are reviewed, or most of them. When's the last time you were confronted about a review you made by a publisher or designer? Like in person? It doesn't happen in person very often. Publishers will usually give me grief in person, kind of like, now, come on, now, you know, this game is not as bad as you said it was, blah, blah. It's fairly good-natured. I've had some just not straight up talk to me, and you feel like a little bit of coldness there. But for the most part, it's not a big deal. Designer-wise, it's pretty close. I've had some emails sent to me, not recently, though. One time at a convention, a designer came in and said, we're sitting down right now and we're playing this game. This has happened to me many times where designers will email me or publicly say, Tom, next convention, sit down, I will show you the strategy in this game. I don't really want to do that, but in this case, I was like, okay, fine. the publisher later came and apologized for the designer doing this. And so we played it through, and I was like, still don't really like the game that much. When was that? That was like 6 years ago that happened. Kind of irked me and horrified that they called the monster Frankenstein. I don't know why that really bothers people that much. So what if it's Dr. Frankenstein and now he has a monster and it's technically Frankenstein's monster? But kids call him Frankenstein. I call him Frankenstein my whole life. I just don't see how that's that big of a deal. I mean, it's just one of those things that people be technical about. If I'm like, Frankenstein is coming, you wouldn't be like, oh, the doctor. I don't. Oh, don't worry about the Freedom 5 thing. Not a big deal. I don't mind people asking questions. Are those all new Dice Tower stickers, person stickers on your laptop? No. It's actually one big giant picture that will be revealing the whole thing for our upcoming Kickstarter. I've been dying to show you all. This is an amazing picture. So you get like a teaser. You can see the very top of it. It is hands down the best thing Tina's ever drawn. So. I think it's too difficult to film board games being played, so it's hard for viewers to follow the action. Maybe, but that's why we like to, we kind of say what we're doing when we play them. We know that it's not perfect watching board games being played, and you just can't do it perfectly, but we try to do as good of a job as we can. My goal when you watch a board game on the Dice Tower is that even if the game itself might be boring, hopefully we're not too boring. What should I do if I love minis but hate painting? Just get minis and don't paint them. Open your wallet. Okay, strange request. I have a bifold because I used to have a trifold, but then I found bifolds fit in my pocket much smaller. You want to see what's in my wallet? Let's see here. What's this? This is my bus, my ticket, my bus pass from Korea, which I kept, and credit card, credit card, credit card, credit card, credit card. Some of them are Dice Tower credit cards. Delta Sky Miles. Don't use that much these days. A business card for the Carib Royale, in case we go back there. Business card for Office Depot. My Florida driver's license. My passport card. These are great. You should get a passport card. Bunch of receipts. My BJ's membership card. My Manilaw at the Westgate. I still have my Dice Tower West card in there. I should probably get rid of that. An Amazon gift card, which I still haven't used. I probably should. And, ooh. $20. I didn't know that was in there. That's cool. That's like finding gold. That's what's in my wallet. That's a question I wasn't expecting to be asked. Will you pay a premium for an out-of-print game? I can't bring myself to pay the current going rate for Dungeon Quest. Well, I would pay someone probably to take Dungeon Quest from me, actually. But yeah, I'll pay premium for an out-of-print game if I really, really want it, and I think it's worth it. That's a tough call to make, though. Who is my favorite character in the Stormlight Archive? Lift, for sure. I really like the main character, Kaladin, too, though. Can we expect a review on Viscounts of the West Kingdom? I don't have that one yet, but when we get it, you better believe we'll be playing it and reviewing it. What's the hottest hot sauce you've tried? Obviously, I've never tried any of those that are just the pure, just essence of hot sauce. I haven't tried those. Dave's Ultimate Sanity was pretty hot. The Bomb. Those are probably the two hottest that I've had. I just don't touch the ones that are super hot anymore. If someone says a hot sauce is super hot, I have no desire to even touch it anymore. I've gotten past that point. I used to be, like, bring on the hot sauces. Now I'm like, give me something that's flavorful and delicious. I like a little heat, and that's about it. What's the story behind the Dice Tower Top 100 theme songs? Oh, Eric made them for us. He's Eric Herman. He does children's songs, does a great job on those. And he's like, hey, would you like me to do a top 100 theme song? We're like, yeah. And he made one, and it was great. So we still use them. Eric's top 100 is going up this week. So keep an eye out for that. John Williams basically also provided the soundtrack for the Olympics. That's true. There's a lot of great Olympic musicians, for sure. There's a lot of great Olympic music. But fanfare for the Olympics, John Williams. Just got a new iPad. Was curious what iPad you have and how you decided which one to get. I don't know. I try to get the biggest and best one because it is easily the device I use the most. Well, no, I probably use my phone slightly more now. But I love my iPad, and I'm telling you, I'm waiting for the day when I have my computer and it's an iPad and it fits on there like that, and I go, here's my iPad, and it's also the Mac computer when it's the same device. I feel like that's going to happen in my lifetime. What are your thoughts on 4 games, IV games releasing the light version of Veiled Fate to lower the barrier of entry? Do you think other publishers might follow suit? Sure, but I am curious about that, so let's see what the numbers are on that. Because I know that when companies offer a deluxe version of a game, most people tend to get that deluxe version. So there's 5,500 backers. For the light version, there's 106. For the normal version, the retail version, there's 427. For the exclusive one, 3,395. And for Make It Metal, 1,271. It's not even close, folks. Yes, the actual one might sell better in stores and stuff later on, but on the Kickstarter, people don't want the small one. They want the big one. So I don't know how many other publishers will follow suit. Are you finding that consistently doing 10,000 steps per day is helpful for weight loss? Yes. Or do you find that you need to add more to that if your goal is to, I don't know what that means. But yeah, I mean, more than 10,000 is obviously better than 10,000, but 10,000 is a really good one to start with. It definitely helps. It also helps just for energy purposes. I have much more energy when I'm walking 10,000 steps a day. Having a dog that wants to walk all the time does not hurt things. Thinking of asking a Fitbit for Christmas. Well, I don't know that you need a Fitbit. I mean, if you have a smartphone, almost every smartphone has an app on it that keeps track of your steps. I don't know that the Fitbit is really, really useful. A few years ago, I heard there'd be a Metal Gear board game. Do you know if that's moving forward? Yeah, they just announced something. I don't remember what, but they announced something about it the other week. How much wood could a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck could chuck wood? A woodchuck would chuck as much wood as it could if a woodchuck could chuck wood. Is there no look back this week? There wasn't any last week, but don't worry, I won't miss any of the games. I'll be covering many of them in the look back this week. I know this because I've already recorded it and Roy has already edited it. It'll be going up Wednesday. Really liked your new hairstyle on this morning's board game breakfast. Does that mean less hats? No, it means Tom Vasel needs a haircut. Man, I can't stand having all those hair. I don't know how you long-haired people do it. This is not long by any means, and it's driving me crazy. Tom, do you agree that the worst MCU movie, Dark World for me? Yeah, probably me too. is on par. I mean, we're excluding Hulk because might be Hulk, but I think we're excluding Hulk. Okay. Anyway, do you agree that the worst MCU movie is on par with the best DC Extended Universe movie? No, because my favorite of the DC movies is Shazam, and I like Shazam considerably more than Thor: Dark Universe. I like Shazam a lot. I also liked Wonder Woman a decent amount, so I would put Wonder Woman over the Thor: Dark World. But yeah, the rest of that dreck, Justice League, the Superman movies, I know some people like them, and I know the extended cut from Zack Snyder is going to save us all. As Chief Sokoto expresses concerns and disappointment about you and your new love of cats. I don't love cats. I feel like it's major betrayal after all he's done for you. Look, me and Chief Sokotoa had a long discussion about this, and he personally scans any cat that I come into contact with to make sure that it is not one of the cats that's intent on destroying the universe. And so far, they've all scanned fine. Are you going to do anything special with the werewolf character dice you had drawn up? Indeed. Stay tuned for our Dice Tower Kickstarter. I really missed the cons that we have gone to this year, UKGE and Spiel. Have you missed the cons or have you gone, phew, that's less work we have to do? It's a little of both, although I hope you realize that I'm trying not to do less work. All right, so we didn't go to Essen Spiel last week. So I tried to do the same amount of work just here in the studio. So I don't know that we're doing less work now. Traveling, obviously, yes. And there's definitely going to Gen Con and Essen are huge, huge amounts of money / time. There's a lot that goes on in both of those. So yeah, it's a little bit. All the smaller cons, though, man, do I miss those. I know Zia's taken over reviewing the Unmatched expansions. Have you been playing the new ones at all? I have not, actually. The last I played was Bruce Lee, I think. I haven't played Jurassic Park or the new ones. I just can't play everything. Is there any goal you have for the Dice Hour in 2020 you still like to achieve by the end of the year? Yes. Also, any plans for 2021 yet? Yes. Is the favorite game Friday for Creepy Games delayed or canceled for the week? I think it's coming out this week. So you feel Florida deserves its crazy person reputation? Have you any examples of the phenomenon in the board game environment? Well, I don't know what that second half of that question means, honestly. The first half, no, I really don't. I don't get this whole Florida man thing. I think it's just a meme that started and rolled with it. But it's okay to, like if, I remember when I was a kid, there was a lot of Polak jokes, right? Polish jokes, and those are bad to do now because that's being nationalistically against Poland and considering people from Poland stupid. We shouldn't do that. But being against Florida is okay. I don't get that at all. You say, Tom, you're a defensive Floridian. Maybe you're right. Are there crazy people who live in Florida? Yes. Are there crazy people who live pretty much everywhere? Also, yes. So whatever. I don't get that upset about it. I just think it's a silly meme. There's just crazy, insane people everywhere. I did read Skyward and I did enjoy it. I've not read the sequel to it yet, though. What is the new equipment you're getting at the studio? Well, tables for one. We're going to show off these tables, but we're also we're going to be changing up how we stream soon. It's one of our changeovers this week, so hopefully it goes over smoothly. Pepper Palace has a lot of great sauce. My favorite barbecue sauce I got from there, mocha and chocolate cherry bourbon. Chocolate cherry bourbon barbecue sauce? What is this marvelousness of which you speak? So let me look this up. Chocolate cherry bourbon barbecue sauce. Okay. This is from Pepper Palace. You're right. Mountain Q Select. We use real... Oh, that looks great. It also looks expensive. $13. Wow, I like that. I'm going to have to try that at some point. I've never ordered from this place before. That's one of the things, it's one of the problems with, all these different online stores. I try not to order from too many of them, just because I don't need the 600 emails coming my way. Well, it looks good. Thanks for the notice. Apple needs to catch up with Nintendo Switch technology. Oh, you're talking about where the Switch can plug in and go to the TV? I agree. I wish that, I know you can do that with the devices. It's just not as easy. Do you have a favorite board game artist with a similar amount of games credited as Dutrait? I don't know. I have to sit down and look because I don't know the number of games. I mean, I know Beth Sobel's done a lot of games, so maybe her, but I don't know. Rhett and Link of Good Mythic Morning recently talked about parks in their podcast. Seems like board games are really becoming a hit with them. Great to see more people gaining awareness of modern board games. Yeah, that's cool. Maybe we'll have them do a top 10. I doubt they would know we existed. I've always thought their stuff is fantastic. What American holidays we're also celebrating in Korea? Well, none, right? Korea celebrates international holidays. So of the international holidays, mostly it would be Christmas and Easter and Valentine's Day for some reason, New Year's. I think that's it. I know. So what else does Korea have? Korea has Children's Day. They have Chuseok and Lunar New Year. Those are the two biggest holidays. Chuseok is a Thanksgiving-ish type holiday, and Lunar New Year is, well, the Lunar New Year. Both of those are the two biggest holidays, bigger than Christmas. Then there's, their Independence Day and a few other holidays like that. Yeah, they don't celebrate any American holidays. I don't know why they would. When we were there, we celebrated Thanksgiving and July 4th and Memorial Day, but the Koreans didn't celebrate them. We just did. Thank you for all the people who are saying nice things about our Spiel coverage. I really appreciate that. That means a lot to us because it's a lot of work, and we aren't always sure if people are enjoying it or not. Do Christopher Nolan's Batman films count as a DC universe? I don't know. I don't know if they count or not. So, if so, they're good. I don't like those as much as the Marvel ones. I'll tell you why. Because they're just depressing. And I want my superhero movies to be more escapist and cartoony. What kind of dog do I have? I have a black German Shepherd, which is my favorite dog I've ever had in my life. I love the Fuzzy, a great dog. And I don't want to get onto one of these dog kicks because I don't, it's one of those annoying people who talks about their dog all the time. But man, if I get another dog, black German Shepherd, it is such a good dog. I mean, she's horribly bad, but love her. Controversial question. Is Die Hard a Christmas movie? Yes. If so, is Shazam a Christmas movie? No. Let me see here. I've not played the Unlocked Star Wars yet. What are you doing with the old tables? Well, here's where the tables are currently. So our first table we ever got was a Geek and Son table, which I bought. They gave me a discount on it, but not Geek and Son, sorry. The Geek Chic table. I bought that table. They gave me a significant discount, but I still bought that one. That one went with Sam. And when Sam left, he went with him. Z got a Geek and Son table, which he still has at his house. So then we have 4 tables from Rathscowers. We got our original gigantic one. That one was in the main studio for a while, then moved to our sub studio, and now is in Roy's house. Then we have the one that was in here, which got moved to the sub studio. Now we have a new one in the main studio. And then we have a Sunny Geeks table, which is out in our office area, and I haven't decided where we're going to do that one yet, but I'm going to be showing that off and reviewing it this week. Most people get chocolate fountains for functions, but I see Tom getting a hot sauce fountain. I like chocolate fountains. I think they're a neat thing, provided you have some interesting things you can do with them. I found what I like doing at a chocolate fountain when they're at a buffet thing is you take the chocolate and you put a little bit of into a glass, and then you get another glass, and so you put it in the ice cream bowl, and you put the chocolate in, then you put the soft serve ice cream on top of it. Then you get a cup and fill it with the chocolate fountain and pour that on top of the ice cream, and hey, magic show. So I like that. I tend to like different things in that, but they're also kind of messy, and they feel a little unsanitary because people are up there sticking stuff in and not doing a good job, and kids are up there. So I always like, eh. And I know that if you rent them and use them, they're also a real pain to clean. Why are we talking about this? Oh, because you talked about that versus hot sauce machine. No, I wouldn't want a hot sauce machine. I want my hot sauce in a nicely stacked row of bottles, and I pick which one I want to use. Do you consider yourself a Trekkie? Not even remotely. I like Star Trek, but I don't know enough about it or care enough about it to be a Trekkie. And why are there no good Star Trek games? I believe there is good Star Trek games. Were Christmas, Easter on the same dates as the Western ones? Again, Christmas is an international holiday. So yes, Christmas is always on the same day, and Easter is always on the same day because they are Christian holidays, and so therefore, like Christmas is December 25th, and Easter is the first Sunday following who knows what, where on the calendar, whatever. So yeah, those are in the same, and Valentine's was on February 14th, and so in Korea has a triple holiday there. So they have Valentine's Day on February 14th. And on Valentine's Day, the girl is supposed to give the guy something. Then on March 14th is what they call White Day. And on White Day, the guy is supposed to give the girl something. And then on April 14th is Black Day, which means if you didn't get anything on the other two, you went out with all the other single people and you got these black noodles, like it's jajang, and you just eat that and like, hey, we're single, we're proud of it, type thing. They're not. None of them are really official holidays. I don't think you have off school on any of them, but they, there's fun. So then I would always give on February 14th. The Americans would be like, "What'd you get your wife?" I'm like, "Oh, I'm celebrating the Korean thing, and she's supposed to get me something." And people would be like, "What? Get your wife something?" Okay, fine. March 14th, Koreans are like, "Get your wife something." I was like, "Well, I already did it for February 14th." Get your wife something. Fine, I got her something. However, to this day, me and my wife will still often, I will try to give her something on March 14th, and she gives me something on February 14th. So that's entertaining for us. They have Pepero Day. Pepero, people don't call them, in Korea they're called Pepero. They are, what do you call them in, everyone calls them something else. They're the little wafer sticks with chocolate in the middle, sometimes on the outside, and everyone gets them. Everyone calls them by the Japanese name, which is Pocky, I think is what they call them in Japan. But they're Pepero in Korea, and they sell a ton of them on Pepero Day. Why? Pepero Day is November 11th, 1111, and all the ones look like Pepero sticks, and that's someone just picked it. I guess the company that makes them, and so that's celebrated on that day. It's just a silly day again. And then, so it's kind of weird. We're like, hey, Pepperlo Day. Also, it's Veterans Day in America. And, so it's kind of it was a weird dichotomy when we lived in Korea. Now we come here, and I still will celebrate Pepperlo Day. I'll buy my kids some Pepero on November 11th. I'm talking about weird stuff today. Lately, it seems that board games are going more for fancy artwork rather than nice mechanics and unnecessary streamlining when developing the game. What's your take on this development? It's not true. It's just not true. There is as much or as little development and streamlining on games nowadays than there used to be. Yes, a lot of Kickstarter games aren't developed, but there's a lot of published games and a lot of Kickstarter games that are. It's the same number. As a whole, though, quality is getting better. So you'll see a nice game, and you'll say, well, this should have been streamlined and developed. Sure, but had you seen that game 15 years ago, it would have been not streamlined and developed, and the graphic design would have been bad. So one of the things has gotten better. And also, I feel like this is just a cop-out that a lot of people are like, oh, games look nice, but are they good? Well, sometimes they are, sometimes they aren't. But let's stop blaming them looking nice. Let's not act like looking nice is something like, well, the only games you can trust are ones that don't look nice. That's balderdash. A game can look nice and have good mechanisms. Also, balderdash is a fun game, since I think I said it a couple times. Do you or any of your children enjoy K-pop? There are a few songs that I got to like when I lived in Korea because I heard them all the time. But I'm not a big K-pop fan. And I think my kids miss that. I think we left Korea. When we left Korea, Melody was in 5th grade. So she wasn't really into K-pop. So I think they just missed it completely. Is Nightmare for Christmas a Halloween movie or a Christmas movie? I think it's both. Excuse me. Work for Tom and get a gaming table. Well, sure, that's always a possibility. That is a small benefit. Remember, we're not making oodles of money here at the Dice Tower. So a gaming table is cool, but you can't eat a gaming table. I'm thinking about a game table. Do you recommend a cloth color? Well, yeah, this light blue one that we're using right now works well. I like gray. Red's fine. I like a lot of colors, but this light blue one that we're using here is my current favorite. It's about 30 degrees out in Minnesota today, which is perfect for hot chocolate. Yes, and terrible for everything else. How cold does it have to be there for you to appreciate hot chocolate? Well, yeah, I don't know if it's ever that. Sure, if it's like 50 degrees, we're like, hot chocolate weather! But yeah. Christmas in Ukraine is on January 7th. Well, there you go. That I did not know. 9 degrees in Colorado Springs. Y'all can have that. Japan also has White Day. Wonder if they brought it over when they occupied Korea after World War II. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what the background was. No one really explained to me what they were. I just know that they were big commercial days, both of them, for buying gifts for other people. I think Russia's Christmas dates and Easter dates are different because they probably follow the Eastern Orthodox Church, which I believe has some different dates than the Western Church. I'm guessing. Current games in the running. Oh, hey, Drew McCrory just subscribed. Thank you, Drew. Thank you, Drew. Anyway, current games in the running for best of the year. I'm keeping that close to the chest. I actually know what my current games and keeping and running for the rest of the year is because I'm keeping very close track of that. If I had to make my top 10 list now, I could, but I'm keeping track. And there's always the possibility that one of the games or two or more that we played last week might get added to that list. What's the best and worst thing about being a boss manager? The worst is, I think, the administration stuff. There's a couple things. At the end of the day, you make the call. So here's an example. Several years ago, Indiegogo approached me and said, "Hey, we'd love you to come on Indiegogo. We'll offer you a good deal. Do you want to go to Indiegogo?" So I asked the guys, "What do you think?" And they said, "Well, maybe this and maybe that, maybe this and maybe that." But it's my call to make. I can ask as many people as I want, but I had to make that call to go to Indiegogo. I'm still not sure right now if it was the best call. It worked out okay. The Dice Tower didn't go under. We made money on Indiegogo, but it was worrisome there for a while. And as you know, we went back to Kickstarter the year after that. But when something like that happens, I have to make those calls, and so that is a tough thing. It's also tough because if someone doesn't do something right or properly, you got to be the one to call them out on it, I suppose. But that's and here at the Dice Tower, that's not as big of a deal. The best thing is I don't have to worry about, I don't like this, and I can do that. If I'm like, hey, I want to take this day off, we can take a day off. You know, I can kind of, if I don't like something, it just won't happen. That's the benefit, I suppose. Also, I have an amazing staff. Right now, I love the guys here at Dice Tower. They are fantastic to work with. You know, we got Lindsay doing a great marketing manager job. Sharon running Dice Tower East. I got Kenny and Roy and Mike and Z here at the main office, and it's just a pleasure. And then we got such a great auxiliary staff, if so, you know, with Eric and Manny Suzanne on the podcast, and Rob Searing running the website, and then Ella and Stella and Mark doing previews and playthroughs and things, and then all my reviewers, Brian and Graham and Jason and more, and Jason running the cruise, and it just, you know, and then I'm going to stop here. There's a huge circle of people involved in many ways, especially Board Game Breakfast and things like that, and it is fantastic. It is great, and I appreciate that. Alrighty, well, I think, folks, that's going to be the end of today. So I appreciate everyone here. I got a lot of things we got to get going on and working on and getting ready for this week. Got to get lunch in here somewhere, too. So I want to say thank you, everybody. I will see you next time. I hope you have a great week. And until then, I'm Tom Vasel, and you've been watching The Dice Tower. All right. So let's see what's going on today. What is the hot news in the board game world? There's new Geek Up sets in stock at Board Game Geek. Secret Santa's open. Ja, weer vlug zo er zie. Look at that, zo bussen. Stack over here. Her was hoje de dois, né? get our call with for fever in is there?
Happy Halloween!